Hi everyone, Mark Hayward from the Absolute Business Mindset podcast. I'm here to you on YouTube. Today we're going to talk about work-life balance. So it's going to be some of my ideas on what I understand work-life balance to be and some of the ways you can gain some sort of traction on getting that in your life. It's not an easy subject, so we're going to talk about a few different things, but hopefully you'll get an idea on what I think is the most important thing for work-life balance. Enjoy. Hi everyone, Mark Hayward from the Absolute Business Mindset podcast. Here today we're going to talk about work-life balance. So this is a really tricky subject to deal with. This is something that most people you'll find in life struggle with. It's definitely one of the things that I struggle with, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to talk to you about what I think work-life balance is and how you can attain something close to work-life balance, because actually, bit of a spoiler, I don't think you ever can achieve work-life balance that satisfies both work, your career, your business, and your family life as well. So equally, it's different in different stages of your life, but I'm going to talk to you about those different things and hopefully you enjoy the podcast. Right, so as I said, it's a tricky thing to deal with. There are so many different ways that you can try and attain work-life balance. It's not easy, and I think a lot of people struggle with this. A boss said to me some time ago that there isn't a balance. Either you're doing well at home, so you're spending time with your kids or your wife or your parents or your siblings, or you're committed to your work, and that then means that you're so essentially if you're doing well at home, your business suffers. If you're doing well at business, your home suffers. So it's one of those that you can never actually win, but I think it's actually quite important just to start with the idea that actually it's really hard to get this to work 100%. So if you don't get this right first up, if you don't get this right in the first few years, then don't worry about it. Lots of people struggle with this. Lots of people have problems with this. So you're not on your own if you're sitting at home listening to this thinking, I need a silver bullet. There is no silver bullet. You might not get this right at all. You might get this right sometimes of your life. You might get this right and you might get this wrong at other times of your life. So first things first. When you're younger and you're starting up a business or starting your career, there's less pressure on a work-life balance. It's really the kids and the wife that really, or husband, brings in, that adds an extra layer of stress. But I would say, even if you're young and you're thinking, right, I've got to plough my whole life into this business or this career, yes, you do, but you do need to find time to be able to socialize with family members, with friends. So I've talked a lot about global mobility. If you are traveling around the world and you have some friends which are the equivalent to your family, then that equally is important as well. So a personal life is important. It doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to be the driving force in your life. You can prioritize your work a lot. And I would say in your 20s, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't prioritize your career more than anything else in your life. I didn't make that choice for personally. I waited till I got into my 30s to really prioritize work and my career. But equally, I have seen and I'm aware of people in their 20s pulling out long hours to get to where they want to be in their career or their business. So I think, especially in your 20s, it's definitely an option. But there's a whole different podcast about how in your 20s you should prioritize work or a career or a business and what you should be prioritizing. So I won't go into this detail, but the one thing I would say, in those early 20s, it's very easy to get into a drinking culture. So socializing with friends and drinking is absolutely fine. But if it then hurts your productivity with hangovers, which you might not have so much in your 20s, but I can guarantee you in your 30s they will start to catch up with you. I would say that spending time with family and friends is important, but having a mix of different things you do, whether you do activities. Anyway, so I think it's important to not just have this drinking culture that some people do have. And I must admit, in all honesty, in my 20s, I spent a lot of time socialising, meeting people. The problem for, I suppose, that I didn't leverage was leveraging some of the people that I met and making them be able to help me, be maybe mentors, be people that can help my career. So I would say drinking's fine, socialising is fine, especially with friends. If you could sort of network at the same time as well, that's ultra efficiency. But spending time in your 20s is important with your family as well. So whether it's siblings, whether it's brothers, sisters, or whether it's parents as well. So quality time is important. So this is going to be a theme through this whole podcast about quality times, but I'll come back to that in a minute. So that's like if you're in your 20s and you're promoting personal life. If you're promoting your business, you want to get promoted or you want to become an entrepreneur, you need to work hard. None of these things come easy. They need a lot of dedication, whether it's in a corporate environment, you're taking professional exams, or whether it's starting a business, whether it's working through a career without exams, you do need to work hard. So I think it's critically important that there's no, I've talked about this numerous times, but there's no shortcut to being promoted or getting a business successful. You do need to work hard. You do need to discipline yourself on the work balance. So my mentor, it was like the third time I met him, something like this, he said to me, I am not a life coach, I'm a business coach. So if you want to try and form some semblance of a work-life balance, I might not be the right person for you. And I had to take a bit of time just thinking about this and talk to my wife about it, because at that time I wanted to get promoted and that was my primary aim, and a business coach was there and would be the ideal person to be able to get me in the right frame of mind, if it's a mindset thing, if it's a discipline thing, to be able to get me there. So for me it's worked very well. I've had to work really hard, but it's been definitely worth it from my point of view. Now equally, so when you're a little bit older and you're talking about committing to a career, so it might be a 10-year plan to get a partner, it might be £1 million worth of an entrepreneurial lifestyle. You do need to get, especially when you're with a wife or a husband, you need to get their approval that this is the way of life. Now there's various means of being able to persuade people, whether it's the financial, whether it's the status, whether it's the perks. You do need to talk to your wife or husband about how important those things are. So it's a way of life if you're going to commit to a business or a career. So you do need to make sure that you're committed and that your family is committed, especially if you've got young children. It's important to be able to spend some quality time with your kids, especially, but equally your wife or your husband. So that is important. Now, what I would say is you hear this lots and lots and lots, and I didn't understand until a while ago, but money isn't everything. Money helps. Money gives you freedom to make choices, but money shouldn't be the satisfaction that you get by your salary band. What is important is that you get satisfaction from the process or the game that you're in. So you need to be able to enjoy, whether it's a career or a business, you need to be able to enjoy the process. You need to be able to get up with drive, with ambition, and get to your next promotion with drive and ambition, and get to your business to £1 million, whatever it is. And money, I say, but you need to service clients. If it's clients you're servicing, you need to be able to think about them, and you've got to enjoy the game that you're playing, the process you're in, because money will help you so far, but money will not make you truly successful, because you've got to enjoy what you're doing to make it really work. So a lot of people that I found in one of my corporate jobs was that there was some pure family guys. They'd got to a grade or a salary that they were happy with, and they were pure family guys, and sort of, I suppose it could be described in the UK as a sort of middle class. They are involved with their kids, they're involved with their career, but they're not overcommitting in their career, and that tends to happen to people in their 40s, I would say, maybe a little bit earlier. But the early promoters that get to serious partner quickly tend to keep moving on, but you get some people who have taken their time through their career and they then have kids and prioritize them. I don't have a problem with those people. I was going to say, I wish I was more like that, if I'm truly honest. But I have a satisfaction that I need to, an itch that I need to keep scratching to get me to the point where I'm satisfied with my career or my business. So, but the guys that are in their 40s have young kids or maybe older kids, they want to enjoy the lifestyle with what their salary and their job and their house and their kids and everything. And to be honest, those guys, I actually admire them because they've got to a point in their career where they're happy. And a lot of people don't ever reach happiness. So I've got a lot of time for people that prioritize their families as well. But you do need to decide on your path. I think this is your path changes, admittedly, through your career, but I do think you need to dedicate yourself to your path, whether that is a sort of a successful middle class, whether it's a partner, whether it's a business owner, a company that's gone IPO'd, whatever that ambition is, you need to be able to work towards it. And the thing I would say is it's never easy. It's never easy. You're always being put under pressure. So if you're a family guy and a middle class sort of satisfied with your job, there will be opportunities that come around where you can plow on, and you've got to make that decision. It's never an easy task to be able to prioritize everything in your life, whether it's work, life, socializing, hobbies, whether it's kids, family, whatever it is, exercise. There are so many different aspects of life which you can do, and I've done a podcast before, which is you've got to prioritize 3 of the 5 or 6 things in life. So it's work, it's family or friends, it's hobby, it's exercise, and you've got to be able to prioritize only 3 of them because you can't do all of them. So it's important. It's important. The other thing is what's important is young kids. So I think you need to be able to have a bit of time with your young kids. It doesn't always work out that way, but I'm going to come back to the point that I made earlier. It's about quality time with kids. And you might be young, you might not be thinking about this, but when you've got kids, you need to think about how you can spend quality time. If you've got something you need to do at the weekend, then admittedly you can do it when they're asleep, but the best time is just to find quality time where you're spending with your kids. So I think it's never easy to try and work out a work-life balance. So hopefully from what you've heard today that it's not easy, but you have to decide, and things change, it can flex in and out, but you need to work out what your priorities are. And we've talked about this before. Work out your values and what your priorities are, what your goals are. And then I would say live life to the max. Live life to its fullest. If it is taking, I don't know, a retreat, a detox retreat because you just need that sort of time, whether it's an Ibiza trip, whether it's a Glastonbury trip, whether it's a holiday with the kids, whether it's finding what works for you, that you have your weekends to do your side hustle or your hobby, but make sure that you live your life to the max because you only get one shot at it. So you need to be able to make sure that you've got what you need and be able to deliver on it. So hopefully I've given you an insight into what work-life balance is and how you probably will never achieve it, but never stop trying to achieve it. Okay. So you can find me on my account for my podcast. There's all of them. There's Apple Podcasts, there's iTunes, there's Spotify. All of them you'll find my podcast on. YouTube video, please check out my YouTube video. It's great. I've got some really decent amount of content on there, so please do check that out. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Patreon, so please, there's lots of places where you can find me and lots of places you can see my content, so please do check it out and enjoy. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon.